Hello Internet, we're going to be taking a blast to the past with this character drawing and specifically to the Saturday morning cartoon era. Today I'll be drawing the character Moto from the Biker Mice from Mars animated series. For the uninitiated, the Biker Mice from Mars series is an animated cartoon that was created in 1993 and lasted until 1997 and then got rebooted in 2006 and then lasted for about a year. The premise basically for the series is about three anthropomorphic Martian mice, with Moto being one of those three anthropomorphic Martian mice, escaping their home planet Mars from an alien race of creatures called the Plutarchians, who essentially stripped mined all their resources from their home planet, and so they're refugees escaping to a new planet where they can call home. The trio of mice men end up taking refuge on planet Earth in the good old city of Chicago, USA, and they end up befriending a mechanic named Charlie who lives there. Together with Charlie, they end up finding out that one of the Plutarchians basically infiltrated planet Earth and is posing as a powerful businessman and goes by the alias Mr. Limburger. And Mr. Limburger, who is actually Plutarchian, is trying to strip mine Earth's resources and send them back to Plutarchian, who needs them to feed their ever-growing empire. So in the actual cartoon, you basically join Moto, his mice buddies, and their new Earthling friend, Charlie, take on Mr. Limburger, who's secretly Plutarchian, and try to foil his plans of sending resources from Earth back to Plutarch. As wacky as the premise of this whole show sounds, you have to remember this is a product of the 90s, and the 90s was a pretty experimental time. And despite its wacky premise, it's managed to grow a very dedicated fan base, and recently I personally have watched a lot of episodes of the 1993 cartoon on YouTube. But now that I basically gave you the introduction to Moto here and the background of this character and the series he comes from, now on to the drawing that you see on screen. Today I decided to draw Moto here in the same outfit worn by the famous Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes from the Avengers series. Why did I do this, you might ask? And it is because, in my opinion, Moto here is the cartoon furry Winter Soldier. Now let me explain. Spoilers, if you want to learn about the story of Biker Mice from Mars, the series Moto comes from, you can find episodes on YouTube. I ended up calling Moto the cartoon furry Winter Soldier because, like Bucky Barnes, he ended up fighting a war, with that war being back on his home planet of Mars against the Plutarchians. And just like the Winter Soldier, Moto ended up losing an arm and an eye, not necessarily the same way he did, but he ended up losing it in the war. And just like Bucky Barnes, he was taken in by nefarious scientists who ended up adhering a prosthetic arm onto him. Unlike Bucky Barnes, however, Moto is a gentle giant with a heart of gold and cares openly about his friends and having them around and keeping them safe. And he especially has a gentleman's heart in protecting and caring after women and children, something he ended up developing probably because of the war he fought. This has to be one of my more challenging drawings because, for one, I'm not consistent with drawing anthropomorphic characters regardless of what species they may be. And with mice particular being a species I've never really drawn that frequently. And secondly, because of the outfit I put them in, as the Winter Soldier's outfit I have here is more complex than I usually draw on my characters. And especially with that arm, I ended up having to do something a little different. I also decided to choose more vibrant colors to color with because when I picked them out from the picture of Bucky Barnes' outfit, they were pretty washed out and muted, and putting washed out muted colors on a gray furred mouse would not make for a very flattering palette. And that's also why I ended up giving Moto a purple bandana, as purple was part of his original color scheme in the older shows, and it will just add more pop and vibrance to a palette that otherwise would be very washed out and gray looking. For Moto's arm here, I basically decided to make it look more like the Winter Soldier's arm, which is basically like this big buff looking metal arm. And for the greaves or grooves of the arm, I basically ended up deciding to draw those grooves in a whole different layer, a glow layer, and I used an orangish gold color to give it a really, very bright, vibrant pop. to make it look like the arm's powered up. Now, the outfit Modo is wearing, inspired by Bucky Barnes, is not exactly one-to-one, as I decided to draw him without the right sleeve arm of the outfit. You also don't see this on the recording of this drawing, but I had to pull a lot of different references to draw Modo's face, from his own original series to other cartoons and movies with mouse in them. I pulled from The Great Mouse Detective, Secret of Nim, and all these other mouse themed movies. So I think I did a good job of drawing a anthro mouse face, and I'm gonna let y'all comment down below and rate me how well I did here. While looking for references to draw Modo and watching the show itself, I have come to the conclusion that someone on the creative staff of Biker Mice from Mars has a thing for the main mice characters, because from screenshots to still images and animations in the original cartoon, yeah, someone definitely has a fursuit in their closet and they need to let it out and set it free. Now, that's not a bad thing, but yeah, when you have shots like this in your show about anthropomorphic mice, I'm gonna definitely have my assumptions about you. Before someone asks me in the comment section, no, I do not have a favorite between the three mice guys. I like all of them equally, and I'm not gonna really pitch in and put my stance on anything, so y'all are gonna have to stand war in the comment section. Now, I also like the little homunculi creature that the scientist created that likes pain. He's pretty funny, but beyond that, I will not make my stand in the mice-men wars, so furries, back off. While drawing the line art was interesting, to say the least, I definitely had a lot more fun coloring and shading this picture. And anyone out there who's a furry artist, tell me how well I did on the mice face for Modo here. While Biker Mice from Mars may have not been an animated masterpiece or garner the same level of popularity as similar shows around its time, it definitely was a fun show to watch, and I absolutely enjoyed myself watching this show. Well, I have no more comments here about my drawing or any of the material associated with it, so follow my Instagram at jcalArts. Thank you for watching, and on to the finished picture.